welcome to the 2021 Outstanding Women in Law Virtual Awards. Tonight's ceremony is unique in that we are celebrating both in person and virtually. And after such a challenging year, we are so proud to be able to give our honorees the recognition they deserve in both formats. This year's honorees are steadfast advocates for the underrepresented, leaders in the profession and in our community, and role models for all lawyers. We are excited to recognize such a diverse and accomplished group of outstanding women. We are also delighted to recognize United States Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton as our Lifetime Achievement honoree. I had the pleasure of speaking with Secretary Clinton about her career, what inspired her to become a lawyer, and the ups and downs all of us face in our profession. As you can see, there is a lot to celebrate and share tonight. But before we begin, I want to thank our incredible sponsors who made this event possible. Our event sponsor, Louis Joes, Avalon, and Aviles. Our champions for women in public service, the New York State Court Officers Association. Our advocates for women, Sir Tillman, Ballin, Adler, and Hyman. Forcelli, Deegan, Tarana. Connor, Elder Law. Ruskin, Moscow, Baltercheck. Windells, Mark, Lane, and Mittendorf. Thank you again for your unwavering support of this event, for our law school, and for our Center for Children, Families, and the Law. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the first set of Outstanding Women in Law honorees.
It's an honor to be recognized by Hofstra as an outstanding woman in law among such well-respected professionals. This award is a testament to my dedication as a young lawyer and further raises my aspirations with the hopes of making a positive impact on our community.
I am truly honored to receive an Outstanding Women in Law award and to celebrate the accomplishments of all the remarkable honorees chosen this year. As a proud alum of Hofstra, this award is particularly meaningful to me. Thank you and congratulations to my fellow nominees.
Being named an Outstanding Woman in Law is such a tremendous honor for me. Growing up, I used to look towards other women that I found aspirational. Now I find myself in the position of being a role model to others. I just recently had a baby girl, and I hope to lead by example. Getting this award is one of the first steps.
Being nominated for the Outstanding Women in Law Award is a humbling experience, particularly given the talent of past nominees who have surpassed expectations, shattered ceilings, and carved a special place in the law for future generations of women lawyers. To even be recognized amongst them is its own reward.
I am truly honored to receive this award alongside other exceptional, cutting-edge women. I have had the most motivating and inspirational role models and mentors. I strive every day, professionally and personally, to go into this world and not only to do well, but to do good.
As a 1992 graduate of Hofstra Law School, I'm thrilled to be back, and I'm honored to be here with such an outstanding group of women. I wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate all of my fellow honorees on their exceptional achievements in the legal field.
We are so grateful to everyone who is joining us, not only in person, but virtually, to celebrate women who have made a meaningful and inspiring contribution to our legal community. Now, in Hofstra's 5th year, Outstanding Women in the Law has honored more than 200 distinguished women, comprised of judges, attorneys, business leaders, professors, and other highly influential leaders who embody what it means to inspire, to lead, and to make a genuine impact in the workplace and the community, and of course, our society at large. Tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award honoree is a shining example of what it means to be an outstanding woman in law. And I am honored, absolutely honored and privileged to be joined by her for this special conversation. Hillary Rodham Clinton has served with distinction as the United States' Secretary of State, the first woman U.S. Senator from our great state of New York, the First Lady of the United States of America, the First Lady of the state of Arkansas, a fabulous practicing attorney, a law professor, an activist, and a volunteer. Her passion for the law and equal justice for all, along with her lifetime commitment to service, makes her a role model for all individuals, and especially for women in the law. Madam Secretary, welcome once again to Hofstra. And I think, thanks so much. And I think that what we should do is jump right into questions, because people want to hear from people would love to hear from you. Love to hear from you.
I have to thank you, Judge Prudenti, for not only that introduction, but your years of service as a lawyer, as a judge, and as a dean of the law school. And I've been looking forward to talking with you. I think we have a lot that we can cover, so I'm ready.
We do. We have a lot in common and a lot to cover. And I know that it all starts way back when for both of us, you know. And I remember when my very first days when I wanted to become a lawyer, and believe it or not, I was 5 years old. And it was a story and it relates to my father, but really I would like to hear more from you, and so would everybody else, than about me. So I just wanted to ask you, because you and I have probably asked this question more times than any other question, but what is it, or who is it, that inspired you to become a lawyer?
It's a great question. And I did not want to be a lawyer when I was 5. That was a little early for me. I went through a number of ideas. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a doctor. I had a lot of different ideas in my head. But I think when I was in college, which was at a time not unlike our own, with a lot of turmoil and change going on, the civil rights movement, the women's movement, the Vietnam War, there was just so much that cried out for better understanding, and also problems that I wanted to be part of trying to solve. So it was really at the end of my college years that I decided that being a lawyer was a great way of continuing my education, learning more about what held societies together, understanding how change could be brought about. So that's when I really settled on going to law school. And in those days, that was still considered somewhat unusual. I was one of, 10 maybe girls in my law school class when I started in 1969. And it was, again, a continuing challenge to understand how the law operated and what we could do, what we could use it for that would, help us have a better society. So I was very motivated by my interest in trying to make a difference and contribute to society. And in the first year of law school, I met somebody I'd only heard about, but I was deeply interested in, called Marian Wright Edelman, who was an African-American lawyer. She'd gone to Spelman College, then she'd gone to Yale Law School. I was a first-year student at Yale, and I heard she was coming to talk on the campus, and I knew she'd been deeply involved with Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement, and I went to hear her speak. And I was so motivated by the way she talked about her experiences being the first African-American woman to pass the bar in Mississippi, for example, focusing on using the law to make sure that people in Mississippi, particularly children, were given access to every opportunity. So I went up to her and I said, I'd like to work for you this summer. And she said, well, I can't pay you. And I said, well, that's a problem because I'm putting myself through law school. But she said to me, if you can find a way to get paid, in other words, if you can find another job or you can find a scholarship or something, I'd be happy to have you. So luckily, I was able to get a law student civil rights research council scholarship. So that was the beginning of my trying to figure out how best to use the law.
Well, that's fabulous. That's a fabulous story. And I think what we both share is your story and my story is similar in the sense that when I saw my father at a closing table, the only person not represented by counsel, even at 5 years old, I knew something was wrong. And I think, in the times when we went to law school and the times we did something, we saw that something was wrong. And so we tried to address those concerns. And you've done a fabulous job doing it. You've held some absolutely fabulous positions and you've done, you've served with distinction in all of them. And I've held a number of positions, not as high as a level, but if you look at our resumes, we both have had our fair shares of working in the law in different positions. I know what my favorite position was and is to this day. Let me ask you, out of all the positions that you have held and all the work you have done, which is the one that resonates with you the most?
That is such a great question, Judge. I mean, I'm like you in that I am so grateful for the opportunities I've had. Has it been easy? No, a lot of the times it has not, but has it been fulfilling? And the answer to that is absolutely. Doing meaningful work that gives you a sense of purpose in your life is to me just an extraordinary privilege. I guess being senator from New York, because I got to use all the skills that I had learned, not only in law school, but practicing law. I got to bring the work that I had done for the Children's Defense Fund, the work I had done as a private attorney, the work I had done on the Legal Services Corporation, which I had chaired. I got to bring all of that together in representing the people of New York. And it was just an extraordinary time because obviously running for office for the first time ever on my own, being elected, going to work, and then literally 9 months later, having 9/11 happen, it was the most intense personal and public experience that I've had. But it was an incredible, wonderful time. And it was something that I know now is harder because of the way our politics are so divided, and unfortunately, we don't get the kind of cooperation to try to solve problems together that we desperately need. But when I was there for 8 years, there was still working across the aisle.
Absolutely.
I probably sponsored legislation with, every Republican. And I want to tell a quick story because he just
Great.
died. But the great Republican senator from Virginia, John Warner, he'd been, a young Navy enlistee and then officer. He'd been the Secretary of the Navy. He just had a storied career. And I was fortunate enough to serve with him during the time I was in the Senate. And, after 9/11, Chuck Schumer and I were the only literally plane in the sky with passengers going to New York the next day. And we saw the devastation firsthand. And we were in a big meeting in Lower Manhattan with then Governor Pataki, then Mayor Giuliani, all of the federal officials. And around 9 o'clock at night, we got handed a note saying that the White House had sent a request for money to the Congress, and they'd asked for $20 billion, but there wasn't a single dollar for New York in the request. And, I said, that's ridiculous. That's outrageous. So Chuck had to go see his family because obviously he had been worried about them. I got on the last train out of, New York. I got to Washington. I literally took a shower. I went to the Senate. I waited for Senator then time Robert Byrd, who was the chair of the Appropriations Committee, and I just begged him. I said, Mr. Chairman, New York needs money. So anyway, bottom line was he said, how much do you need? I said, well, 20 billion. I mean, 20 billion for everything else. We need 20 billion in New York. So that afternoon, Chuck and I went to the White House, and we were there as the two senators from New York, and the two senators from Virginia were there, and John Warner was one of them. And we were sitting with President Bush in the Oval Office, and President Bush said, what do you need? And I said, President Bush, New York needs $20 billion. We've been devastated. We have so much to do to rebuild. And he said, you got it. And he said that to me, directly to me and to Chuck and the other people in the room. So then we got up. We were going to the cabinet room, which is next to the Oval Office, with all the members of Congress from Virginia and from New York. And as I was walking out the door, John Warner tapped me on the shoulder, and he said to me, Hillary, get the president to commit to that in public, in front of everybody. I said, okay, John. So when he got in there, meeting started, the president talked. At the end, I said, Mr. President, I want to thank you again for what you promised in the Oval Office that New York would get $20 billion. And I looked at John Warner, and he nodded at me. And if we hadn't gotten that absolute commitment, it would have been so much harder. And it was that kind of collegiality and cooperation that we had in those days across the aisle. So I know he died just about a week or so ago, but I wanted to tell the story because those days are not so common anymore, and the country is worse off because of it, where people are not willing to leave their partisan identity at the door and work together.
And you are so right. I was a surrogate of Suffolk County at the time when Flight 800 went down, and I remember President Clinton, and it was in Suffolk County, where the tragedy happened, and President Clinton coming to Suffolk County, and Bob Gaffney was the county executive, a Republican, and of course Governor Pataki was there, and there was this unity that was there on that beach of we just want to do whatever we can in this devastating situation. And I totally agree with you. I am a real believer in consensus building, and I wish we could get back to
Gail.
that.
Oh, I do too. But, it takes two to try to build a consensus, if not more. And so I'm hoping that whatever this fever is that has gripped our politics breaks, because, we're falling behind. We're in a huge competition with China, for example. we've got inequality, we've got other kinds of terrible challenges. But I have to ask you, what was your favorite job of all the great jobs?
It's very, very simple for me, I'm probably too young an age, and I ran for judicial office on 3 occasions, and I was appointed by both sides, and that was the wonderful thing in those times as well. Right now, I'm probably far too moderate to get elected to anything, to be very honest with you, and wouldn't want to. But my very favorite job was presiding judge of the Appellate Division Second Department. It was one of the busiest appellate courts in the country. There's 3 really busy ones, one in Texas, one in California, and ours in New York, the Second Department. And it was a fabulous combination of 2 things I love: the adjudicative, being in that courtroom, working with lawyers, having unique perspectives and thinking a little bit differently, people who came from different walks of life, giving you a different perspective on the law, and then the administrative side. And my family used to teach me that I was born to be administrator because I used to line up my dolls. Okay.
Well, that tells you something.
So that was my favorite job. I absolutely.
But one thing about the law, now that you're, a dean and you're training, helping to educate the next generation, it is everything. Every kind of human being, every kind of problem. I mean, if you just name what you're interested in, you will find it in the law. And
exactly.
The courtroom, of course, is the major arena for all of these dramas to be carried out.
Exactly. And I have to tell you, here at Hofstra, the students, I call them my lawyers in training, are the joys of my life. So that's what I love about being a dean. So, and I say the same thing you say. There is a place for everyone in the law. You will find it. It just takes you a matter of time, to find what you really enjoy the most and where you can help the most people. Because I've found, and so many of my friends have heard this so many times before, that it's not a certain position, success is in a certain position or whatever, but it's doing your best, to meet your professional goals. We all have them, and it's a wonderful thing, while serving the public good. And you are the prime example of that. And that's why, I hold you in really the highest regard. So that goes on. We just talked about all the wonderful things. That goes on to what we know for practicing law so long is that all lawyers and all people in public service and all people who take on frontline jobs have tremendous, incredible ups and downs in their lives and in their careers. We all have experienced it. And it really takes an incredible human being and with inner strength to keep going, and to keep going and to achieve further goals. So I think that everyone would love to know, from your perspective, what advice you could give. What do you think your keys to success, for just moving right along, achieving, one professional goal after another, and again, while being in service to your country, to your state, to your community? I would love to know. You can help me. You can help me with these tremendous ups and downs. And I'm sure all of our wonderful women who we're honoring tonight as well.
Well, you have an incredible list of women that you're honoring. And you're right. Every one of us could probably take up a whole session talking about, the disappointments as well as the accomplishments, the high points, the low points. And, for me, you really have to start from a base of being sure of why you're doing what you're doing, because you're going to be criticized no matter what you do or how you do it. It just unfortunately comes with the territory. And that's true for both men and women. But for women, look, we still have a double standard. The double standard is alive and well. And women are judged often not only differently, but, more harshly than men doing the same thing. I mean, I remember, I practiced law for a number of years in Arkansas when I lived there. And I had some of the funniest experiences as a woman in the courtroom. I remember one time I was literally trying a case in a small town in North Arkansas. And it was like a 3-day trial, as I remember, to the bench. And I came back after lunch on the first day, and the front row was filled with men dressed in camouflage. And it was, before the judge came in, I went up to the bailiff and I said, "Excuse me, who are they?" And he goes, "Oh, they're just in from the deer woods, and they heard there was a lady lawyer, and they wanted to come watch." So, you wherever you're practicing law, whatever you're doing, you're going to have all kinds of experiences. So you have to, number one, really be committed to what it is you're doing. It's hard to keep going in the face of criticism if you're not. And so if you're doing something in the law and it's not satisfying, or you feel like it's too stressful, then look for another path. Look for something else, because unless you are centered in your mission, it is difficult to take all the slings and arrows. And certainly resilience is one of my favorite words, because I've had to exercise it for so many years. And you really need to have people who are supporting you, and they're good, honest critics, because everybody needs an honest critic, but you don't want to listen to, frankly, the criticism that is not useful. I always say take criticism seriously, but not personally. Because you can learn something from your critics, but you can also get driven to your knees where you want to stay in bed and pull the covers over your head if you can't find a way to learn from it without letting it, really personally devastate you. So look, I think getting prepared, being as educated as you possibly can, feeling good and committed to whatever it is you're doing, getting yourself enough sense of purpose and enough of an armor that the slings and arrows don't pierce your heart, but you don't lose empathy and understanding with other people. Because if you get too defensive and you are too worried about what they're saying about you or what the challenges are, then that poses different problems. So you have to be open enough, but you've got to be self-protective enough to be resilient. And, I think there's a million stories that people can tell about what that looks like and how that feels and how important it is. But, just work on resilience. And now there's even self-help books and all kinds of advice about how you build that internal resilience. Not everybody is born as tough or as strong as you need to be in life, and sometimes you have to work at it. So particularly in law school, seek out people you trust to criticize you when you're speaking in front of a crowd, or you're going to have trusted people tell you what you can do better. Constantly be improving yourself, because that'll build your confidence and that'll help you be resilient.
Well, honestly, everything you said really resonated with me, because I have to tell you, being a sensitive person by nature, I really have had my share of adjustments. But you know what helped me? Two things helped me. And one of which you said, although at the time it didn't feel like it. I have a great husband who's a lawyer, and he's like one of these incredibly straightforward, honest people. And after every speech, he would give me a grade, okay? And after every grade, I would either not be speaking to him or be highly insulted, okay? But what I came to realize was I needed that. Because as you and I both know, public speaking or public appearances, learned behavior, you have to improve. You have to know what you're doing right. You have to know what you're doing wrong, and we can always improve. And the other thing that resonated with me that you said is every outstanding person gets criticized, every person trying to make a difference. And I'll never forget watching CNN after the death of Mother Teresa. And they were criticizing Mother Teresa for not for being involved in a small community, and she could have had much more effect worldwide. And I looked at Robert and I said, if they can criticize Mother Teresa, they can definitely criticize me. But
Yeah.
you're right. It is one of the great challenges. It is one of the great challenges, but fabulous advice. And I really appreciate it. And I know I've kept you long, but I have one more question because, you know, I look at this and I look at the future and I look at the women that are coming up, not only in the legal field, in education and, you know, it's in the medical field and in all sorts of leadership roles, you know, in the judiciary. What do you see for the future, you know, from your vantage point? Where do you see women in the law, you know, in a legal field, as well as in leadership positions?
Yeah. Well, on the one hand, I'm incredibly hopeful and optimistic. I've been fortunate over many years to work with, employ, campaign with a lot of young women, and I see how many more are willing to step out and to try new things and to get into, you know, the professions you mentioned and many others. That is incredibly exciting to me because we need everyone, but particularly young women, to feel the permission, the encouragement to follow their own dreams. And if that's into the law, go after it, get into it, go as far as your, you know, potential and hard work will take you. On the other hand, though, I have to say, I am worried about our democracy. I'm worried about our rule of law. I'm worried about the insidious effects of online disinformation, propaganda, if you will, the conspiracy theories, the falsehoods that are really taking hold of people. We need committed lawyers, I think, Gail, more than ever. Because part of what we are supposed to be trained to do is gather the facts, gather the evidence, you know, and sometimes it's not easy where it leads. You know, you say, I wish it were different. You know, look, I wish 2016 election had been different, but you look at the facts, you look at the evidence, you look at the, you know, the rule of law. We need lawyers from all walks of life, across every kind of ideological boundary, to stand firm and say, we are not walking away from facts, evidence, and truth. And I think women have a particular stake in this, because if you look at societies that move away from democracy, move toward authoritarianism, move toward one-person rule, move toward you know, falsehoods that are just fantasy that leaders manipulate, women are often the most seriously disadvantaged because despite all of our efforts, we're still not equal in power and authority and opportunity here or around the world. The rule of law, democracy, our structures, our institutions, our values, our rights are essential to every woman, no matter who she is or what she wants to do, or even, you know, where she stands on the political spectrum. You can be conservative, but stand up for the rule of law, stand up for democracy. You can be liberal and left, stand up for the rule of law, stand up for democracy, because it's the best system we have to give every one of us, particularly those who are still fighting for our place in society, at the table where decisions are made, to be treated seriously, to be treated fairly, to be given a chance to prove ourselves. So I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful because of the young women I see and I watch and I'm thrilled by. But I'm worried about all these trends in society that are eating away at the institutional structures that have guaranteed the path forward and depend upon facts, evidence, and truth.
Well, I agree with you. I am hopeful as well. I had a very interesting conversation with one of my students yesterday about how, you know, her heart wants to go one way and the law goes the other way. And I told her about what a great challenge that is as a judge, but we take an oath to uphold the laws as they exist in the United States and the state that you work in. I want to thank you, though. I want to thank you for the women and the judges that you nominated to the federal courts. They're great people. I have to say, especially in the Eastern District. They're absolutely fabulous. And
I agree.
Southern District as well. Southern District as well. So you are the inspiration for women. And always remember that. And I think both of us, will continue to try to do the best we can for everyone who wants to sit at the table, and that's our job. So that's what we love to do.
Yeah.
But they were very inspiring words. And we want to thank you, and we want to close with a special honor in recognition of your lifetime achievements, And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you the president of Hofstra University, our true visionary. And the reason I came to Hofstra was because I really think you need to be, as a lawyer, business savvy, tech savvy, and interdisciplinary. And Hofstra, President Rabinowitz convinced me that Hofstra offers all of those qualities to lawyers. So it's a wonderful thing. But he really, when he heard that you were graciously coming, we were coming together to speak, he would like to present you with Hofstra's presidential medal.
Thank you, Judge Prudente. That was a really generous and a really kind introduction. And I'm so pleased to join with all of you tonight, albeit virtually, at this event celebrating women in the law and the university's and the law school's long history of celebrating women in various professions, but particularly in law. And I want to congratulate every single honoree tonight on your achievements and on receiving your awards. And we're really quite impressed by the roster of people who are being honored tonight. But I have a particular privilege this evening, one that is very significant to me, especially since this is the last presidential medal of my presidency that I will be awarding since I'm retiring finally after 20 years as president, and that is to present the Hofstra Presidential Medal to Secretary Hillary Clinton. The roster of prior recipients of this award is simply incredible. People like Senator Edward Kennedy, John Kenneth Galbraith, Henry Kissinger, Claire Booth Luce, Senator Schumer, Elie Wiesel, et cetera, have been awarded this medal. And the roster is even more significant tonight by adding Secretary Clinton to the roster of recipients. And I want to say how much we admire Secretary Clinton for all of her work. She was an incredible public servant. She did wonderful humanitarian work, and no one could be more deserving of this medal than Secretary Clinton. On a personal basis, I met Secretary Clinton a number of times in person, and it was my honor. When she was New York Senator, every year I would go down to Washington and troll for federal dollars. That's to help Hofstra, and that's what presidents used to do in those days, and still do. And she always met with Secretary Clinton every year, and she was welcoming and helpful, and it was a pleasure to meet her then. We met in other circumstances as well. In fact, the last time was when Hofstra hosted its third consecutive presidential debate for the 2016 election. And so I end my presidency by conferring on you, Secretary Clinton, the Hofstra University Medal. And here it is. Here is the Hofstra University Medal. And I wish I could teleport it to you, but as technically savvy as we are, they haven't invented that yet. So instead, I'll FedEx it to you, and hope you will keep it proudly. So thank you so much, Secretary Clinton. Again, congratulations to all of the honorees, and particularly again to Dean Prudente for this event and for actually starting a tradition at the university and the law school, which I know will last for many, many years in celebrating women in the law. Thank you very much.
I am thrilled to receive this medal. It means a great deal to me. I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with President Rabinowitz over a number of years, and I know what his leadership has meant to Hofstra. And I'm delighted, Judge, that he convinced you to become the dean. And I only see great things ahead for such a committed educational institution as Hofstra is. And I am honored to be a small part of what you are achieving at the university. And I wish you and everyone at the university and everyone who supports the good work to just continue moving it forward. We need more like you in our state and our country right now, especially.
Well, thank you for the incredibly kind sentiments and words. And thank you, Madam Secretary. You know, I have to tell you, your staff has been a pleasure to work with. And I have to say, I truly believe our staffs are a reflection, and yours truly is a reflection of your kindness and your generosity. You truly are a woman of substance in every way, and every way to be admired. I hope we meet again under the happiest circumstances, and I hope that everyone enjoys this evening.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
It was very exciting and humbling to be recognized as an outstanding woman in law. However, no one achieves success without the support of their family, friends, and colleagues. So thank you to everyone who has supported me during my career.
Equality for women and passing the Equal Rights Amendment are extremely important, as is supporting women business owners, single mothers, and abused women. Thank you, Hofstra, for valuing women and recognising my efforts through the Women's Bar and other organisations supporting equality. And thank you to my family and my daughter Charlotte, who's here tonight.
Thank you, Hofstra University, my fellow honorees and sisters-in-law. I lost my mom 4 months ago, and it was she as a single mom who inspired me to study law. This award is going to continue to motivate me to serve the seniors in the Southeast Queens community and ensure they get all the benefits they're entitled to. So thank you, Hofstra, and Mom, this is for you.
I am truly honored and humbled to be named as an outstanding Women in Law honoree by Hofstra. I have always appreciated the outstanding grounding in the law that I receive from Hofstra and am proud to be a Hofstra alum. I thank you, Hofstra, for this special recognition, particularly because it is among so many esteemed colleagues and honorees. Thank you.
I am honored to be named an Outstanding Woman in Law by Hofstra Law School. This honor, which I accept on behalf of the many amazing public sector attorneys, recognizes their important and dedicated work within our communities. I continue to be inspired and learn from them every day.
It is an honor to be recognized as an outstanding woman in law and to be named alongside a group of such incredible, successful women who make a difference both within and outside the legal profession. And a big thank you to Hofstra Law for laying the foundation. Thank you.
Good evening. I am truly honored to receive this award in such esteemed company on the 50th anniversary of my alma mater, Hofstra Law. It is particularly special as the Dean of Students here, as I mentor, support, and guide law students toward becoming the future generation of our profession. I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all those who stand beside me every day, leading, inspiring, and mentoring. And to those who have said my name and the names of other women in a room full of opportunities, thank you. Enjoy the evening and congratulations to all.
I'm honored to be recognized as one of the outstanding women in the law. This type of recognition is certainly important to highlight the achievements made by women in this field. One day I hope that we won't need these types of awards to recognize the great contributions that women make in the law, but rather our contributions will be seen as commonplace and expected. I'm honored to be part of that movement, and these types of awards help us to move in the right direction.
Super excited to be recognized today. This award means a lot to me and my family. It validates my decision to become a lawyer 21 years ago, and it reminds me that I must continue to advance women issues in the workplace, diversity, and inclusion. Thank you for this award, and congratulations to all honorees.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for this incredible honor. I am deeply humbled to be receiving the Hofstra Outstanding Women in Law Award with my fellow honorees. I hope that more Hofstra graduates will join me on Capitol Hill and the West Wing, and I look forward to seeing all of you there.
I wish to express my sincere thank you to Judge Gail Prudenti for this recognition, and I also extend my congratulations to all of this year's honorees. Being recognized as an outstanding woman in the law is very humbling and gratifying. I continue to be inspired and motivated to apply the law as a means to achieve fairness, access to justice, and a just and fair society. The law can be a great equalizer, and I am so grateful to occupy the space that I do as a woman in the law.
Recognition by Hofstra Law as a woman in law is meaning of life. Thank you. From this solo practitioner who loves what she does, it's great to receive this recognition. Congrats.
I'm so very gratified to be among this year's honorees. The opportunity to celebrate remarkable careers of women made possible through top-flight educations gives me great pride. Congratulations to all my co-honorees.
It's an honor to be recognized as an outstanding woman in the law by my alma mater. I'm proud to be acknowledged along with such inspiring and accomplished women, and I'm very grateful to receive an award that promotes increased opportunities for women.
Thank you for including me as an honoree this year. It's both humbling and exciting. Humbling because I've been included with a group of women who just don't stop. They give their all towards everything they do. Exciting because it's a recognition of a job well done for the activities that I just take for granted. It's part of who I am. So once again, thank you very much.
I am so grateful to be among you amazing women. So many of you have used your intellect and motivation to reach your career goals, but then have reached back and helped others reach their full potential. To me, there's no greater success than elevating others, and I'm so proud to be among you.
I'm so honored and thrilled to be named as one of Hofstra's outstanding women in law. I want to thank Judge Gail Prudenti for recognizing female leadership in our community. Congratulations to all of the honorees today on this exciting achievement.
I'd like to thank all of Hofstra Law School staff and the committee for nominating me for this wonderful award. As a mental health attorney with a wonderful staff, we have a lot of gratitude for the work that we do, and I'd like to thank all the other honorees as well for the wonderful works that I'm sure they do also.
I'm particularly gratified to receive this honor from my alma mater because of the law school's leadership in the area of family law. My commitment to children and families has been ongoing throughout my career, and it is really wonderful to get this recognition.
Thank you again for joining us tonight for our virtual Outstanding Women in Law Awards. We hope to warmly welcome you back to Home to Hofstra this fall as we continue to celebrate Hofstra Law's 50th anniversary.